want to share with you one of the greatest lessons of the 20th century. And it comes from Viktor Frankl. Viktor Frankl was Austrian and of Jewish descent. He was also trained as a psychiatrist and then was imprisoned and spent years in concentration camps. He spent about a week in Auschwitz and then was transferred somewhere else. I had the chance to visit Auschwitz. In Polish it's Auschwiencim, and I had the chance to spend a day there. I spent the day with my wife's cousin. I didn't say a word the whole day. Overwhelming, unbelievably overwhelming. On the drive there, my wife's cousin mentions to me that he's from a town called Bugoraj in Poland. And he says before World War II, half the population of this town was Jewish. And he said, today I don't know a single Jewish person. I don't know a single Jewish person. Auschwitz was the most efficient, most effective human killing machine in history. Towards the end of its time, they got to the point where they could kill 10,000 people a day, like clockwork. 2 railroad tracks go into this camp, and at the end of the railroad tracks, there are 2 gas chambers, one on the right, one on the left. Now they're demolished. They were demolished right towards the end of the war to eliminate evidence. But those chambers could take in 2,000 people at a time, each one straight to the basement, where they strip all their clothes, they take out the fillings in their teeth, and 2,000 people at a time in one and 2,000 people at a time in the other would be gassed with Cyclone B and then cremated. Overwhelming. There are trenches next to the railroad tracks. I went down into the trenches just to see what it would be like if someone tried to escape. What it would be like. And I went down into this trench and I couldn't get out, and I thought, boom, enough time, you're stuck down there long enough that you're done. You're done. I tell you this because Viktor Frankl spent a week there, but he spent years in concentration camps, experiencing the worst of human conditions. And when he came out, he taught the world an unbelievable lesson that I think we're still just starting to learn. He actually won the Nobel Peace Prize, and he spoke at the United Nations. And he said this. He said, your Statue of Liberty on the East Coast needs to be complemented with the Statue of Responsibility on the West Coast, because without that, you do not get or maintain liberty. And I would say that that's not just as a nation, that's as a person, as a family, as a business. How well do you choose? See, Viktor Frankl, in his book, Man's Search for Meaning, tiny little book, get a copy. You get a couple dollars, you can buy it on Amazon, a little tiny paperback copy. It'll shake up your world. The phrase he repeated the most, different versions of it, different paraphrases of it, but in that book, is this. He who has a why can bear with almost any how. If you have a big enough reason, you can deal with the worst of human circumstances. And he said, see, in the camp, they could take away all these things, but they couldn't take away what he referred to as the last of the human freedoms. My ability to choose how I look at this circumstance, how I respond to this circumstance, how I respond. And he noticed that so many people in the camp, in his bunk, he'd notice a look of lack of hope. They were losing hope. And then within a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, they wouldn't get up the next morning. They wouldn't get up from their tiny little bunk. They wouldn't get up. So he started trying to breathe that hope into them, because he knew if you have a why, you can deal with the how. If you have a why, a reason, something that matters enough to you, you can deal with the junk of life. And you get to choose to focus on that why. See, Viktor Frankl created for himself 2 reasons, 2 whys, 2 huge choices while he was in the camps. 1, he chose to focus on, when I get out of here, I will teach the world the lessons that I learned in this experience. That we are not deterministic, that we still have the ability to choose no matter what the circumstance. And number 2, he chose to have imagined conversations with his wife throughout his time in the camps. Imagined conversations. When we're out of here, we'll live here and we'll be talking about this, and he would have this conversation in his mind with his wife. It created a reason for him to chase to get out of there. Let me ask you this. What circumstances, what things are getting to you? And when do you not exercise that ability to choose? I challenge you from this video to look at your life, look at your days, and say, you know what? My circumstances will never be what Viktor Frankl dealt with. They'll never be that harsh, that extreme. Let me use Viktor Frankl as an example. Let me exercise my ability to choose more frequently. Jonathan Benny, I hope that this serves you.